All right, Kevin, just give me a quick check. Make sure you're...
Check, check,
All
check,
right.
check, check, check.
Okay.
So Michael, between
me and you?
between vocalists, do you want me to just
All right, let me get Barry to...
kind of signal?
Could you go out there and just tell Barry to lower his...
Volume a little bit. Yeah, do we want to turn off the monitor for the recording, or
What monitor?
those guys?
They'll be off.
Oh, okay.
Well, they should be on.
Ba.
And
Oh my God, they're grilling me in here. Just kidding. Hasn't even started.
All right.
I'm sweating.
Sorry to make them-
Well, it's going to be quick.
okay, I think we're ready for that. Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
What was the question? You wanted to do like a segue?
Oh, so yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll play it by ear when I'm done with Kevin,
Right.
and we want the next
I would
in.
just be natural. I can edit it, but just be natural. So let's get the next one. I mean, they all
Okay.
know to come right in.
Yeah.
I think it'll work smooth. I don't
Okay.
think we need to edit.
Excellent. Okay, great. We're here at Jazz Live San Diego with Peter Sprague. Peter, welcome to Jazz Live San Diego.
Thanks for having me.
So I wanted to talk with you and your vocalists on your new release, Ocean in Your Eyes. But first, this is an all-vocal album, but you've recorded vocal albums before and worked with vocalists throughout your career, including Diane Reeves and others. What in particular do you like about working with vocalists?
I love it, and it's not, I would say there's a lot of sort of inside jokes, and a lot of jazz musicians don't like playing with vocalists. I don't know if you know that.
No,
you
why,
look like
why,
that. You,
no, why is
it looks
that?
like that is news to you.
Mhm.
Well, a lot of instrumentalists just love to just take solos and play the solos and not be confined by, a lot of times with vocalists, it can be confining in that you have to always come back to their thing. And a lot of times, throughout history, vocalists can be the center point, and then the musicians kind of take a back seat in a way, and a lot of musicians don't like that. Well, for me, I love playing with vocalists. I just love the way that songs, we play a lot of jazz standards, and when you play them instrumentally, it's cool, but it's so great to hear the lyric of the song and see where that goes. And done right, and by done right, I mean, I find when you work with vocalists, you need to have a combination of songs that are arranged more. So there's more arrangement. Because a typical place that a vocal would be on a typical jazz song, would they sing the head of the melody, it's a short moment, then there'd be all these solos, and then they come back and sing the head. It's off balance. So that's why there's a need for arrangement. So ways that I like to do it, you sing the head, then there's a little interlude that comes, and then the vocals maybe scats the solo. So I love it when vocals are sort of done in that way. I don't know what it is about me, but I just...
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Well, I've known you for a few years now, and you always just love the sound of the human voice.
I do.
You always love the sound of the voice.
Yeah.
I think that's simple.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I do, and it's earthy to me. It's not just jazz too. I love folk vocals and rock vocals and Brazilian, so it's just something I've included.
So we were just hearing from Kevyn Lettau, who's one of your collaborators
Hi.
on this. Kevin, welcome to Jazz Live.
Thank you.
So you worked on a couple tunes on Ocean in Your Eyes, Giving It Up, and Would You Like to Dance? Before we let you tell us about those, can you tell us a little bit about how you first met Peter?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was 17, maybe even maybe just turned 17. I was just about to graduate from high school. And this one guy heard me singing in the hallway in high school. And he said, "Oh, we have a jazz band. You have a nice voice. Come sing with us." And Peter's brother, Trip, was playing drums in that band. And Trip told Peter about me and said, "There's this young girl that's blah, blah, blah." And that's how we met. And that was the summer of I don't know, 76 or 77, something like that.
Mhm.
So a few years ago.
And you've gone on to do a lot of work together, including 2009. You guys had a duo disc,
Yeah.
What Is Enough?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about something about one of the tunes that you worked on Ocean in Your Eyes.
Well, years ago, we wrote some tunes together, and the process was really cool. We just sat and he played guitar, and I would sing a little melody, and we wrote a couple of songs like that, which we recorded on an album called Brazil Jazz. That was back in the 90s. And so I think you suggested, why don't you come over and we'll write a song? And we did that, and it was sort of the same. He had a little bit of an idea of a melody, but it was really fun because I really felt like we collaborated on the melody. It was super fun. And then the lyric, I had just had a young student come to me, a gorgeous young woman who just was so talented and wonderful, but she was dating the father of one of my other students. It was sort of an icky situation. It just made me think, why do these older men go for these younger women? What is this, And it made me think, well, I'm in my 50s now, and I don't got all that going on no more, that stuff that you got when you're 25. And so I sort of wrote the lyric about just sort of being an acceptance of, this is what it is, and that's what it is, and it's cool.
Excellent. Well, if you can help us
Yeah.
bring in another
Okay.
Of your collaborators,
All right.
Matt, I
Thanks,
think
Kevin.
we're going to bring in.
Matt?
So, Peter, in Ocean in Your Eyes, you worked with the group True North, of which Matt is a member.
Mhm.
And those are a different kind of thing where you had multi-voices to write for. Is that a challenge for you?
Well, it's somewhat of a challenge. There are things, I've done writing for big band, and I've written for string quartet, a lot of string quartet, and in a way, string quartet is similar to the writing for the vocal ensemble, because some of the same principles you follow along in the same ways of creating harmony and how you voice things. But there was a lot of new things that I didn't know. I mean, for one, vocalists have to breathe. That's a big deal. You can't keep writing forever. And so so this is really cool that you have Matt here, because Matt has so much experience in this vocal ensemble. He teaches music, a vocal ensemble at Miracosta College, and he's in the U.S., he's one of the main guys, and he has a whole website and sells charts, and he does a lot of arranging. So he was very helpful to me in coming up with these arrangements. I would do them, and then I'd run them by him, and he'd give me suggestions on things that could be problems and things to improve things. So I learned a lot from him. And then Matt brought along these singers that he works with. That's the True North group, and I tell you, they just were a mind blower. How incredible their reading, how they could interpret these charts. It was just, I'd never seen anything like this. So it's been a real gift to meet Matt and work with him.
Well, Matt Falker has joined us, and Matt, welcome to Jazz Live San Diego.
Thanks, great to be here, guys.
So tell us, give us a quick, brief intro to True North, the group that plays on Ocean in Your Eyes.
Well, True North has been together about 4 or 5 years, and they're mostly comprised of Los Angeles studio session singers. Teachers, all of us have come up through vocal jazz ensemble programs, and so we've kind of developed that specific set of skills and arranging, things like that. So it's been really, really fun to come down to San Diego. We did some recording, of course, in Peter's studio to get that together. And we do different things. We sing at a lot of vocal jazz school festivals in the area. We're doing Cuesta College up in San Luis Obispo, some different sorts of opportunities.
So you and the group True North work on a couple of tunes on the disc, and do you have one in particular you'd like to tell us a little bit about?
I think the one that's on my mind right now is the Words and Music, which is really fun together, because that's the 4 of us in True North, and then we get Leonard, of course, who's singing tonight. to sing bass on that, so it fills out into the 5-part harmonies. And it's just so fun because Peter's songs that he writes have such harmonic richness to them. They're super challenging, but they're super fun to sing. And super rhythmic, and it's just been really super. And one of the things that we did with 3 of the charts that are on the Ocean in Your Eyes albums, we're actually publishing them, and we're starting to distribute them to schools through my publishing company. So
Nice.
that's been fun too.
So did he give you guys room to breathe in the arrangements?
We had to kind of wrestle him to the ground on a couple of them. So we can't hold it for 16 bars, Peter. Help us out here. We worked it out.
Oh.
Excellent. Well, Matt, can you get Lisa Hightower and bring her in?
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here, Matt. So, Peter, this is a disc that has a lot of different vocalists on it, a lot of different tunes. Was there at any time that you maybe recorded this one of the tunes with multiple vocalists and decided which one you wanted, or did you have this very in particular, this is a song for this person and that's who we want?
That's a good question, and I really did have songs that I was thinking of all the different people. I didn't try, and say everyone try it and then say no, I think that person did the best.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really do that, and in a way that would be politically a little bit uptight too, because then someone that did it that didn't get picked wouldn't feel good about it. No, more we just went into it, and I just had, like this Brazilian stuff is a natural with Kevyn. She has such a history with that, and we just have Lisa here, and one of my favorite things that Lisa does is that she's just with music that kind of has a bluesy, jazz blues tinge to it. I think she just devours it. So there's a tune on the record called The Big Phone Bill Blues, and I just love what she did with it. So that's
Well, so Lisa Hightower has joined us. Lisa, welcome to Jazz Live San Diego.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So tell us about the tune that you worked with, Peter, on this disc, The Big Phone Bill Blues.
Well, we actually recorded it a couple years ago, didn't we? So it was kind of been in the can for a while, and he called me up and said, remember that song we did? I was like, yeah, I do remember that. So all of a sudden it's resurfaced. So it's been a couple of years, so I kind of had to refresh a little bit, but I love the words and loved it. We played at an elementary school a couple of weeks ago and did a concert there, and he was like, we didn't really feel like we were connecting with them too much. We were just kind of playing the tunes, and there was like 300 kids, and I thought, I asked them if they knew that there, quite a few years ago, that phones were connected to walls, and they had wires on them, and they were like, really? And so we were trying to explain the fact that if you had somebody that didn't live near you, that you could ring up a pretty big phone bill. So that's kind of the whole funny part of that song, but it really doesn't hold true now, because if you're on a family plan, you can call for free. So
yeah. So Lisa, then when did you meet Peter, and how did you guys meet?
I met Peter probably 25 years ago, and I was in an all-girl rock band for 8 years in the 80s. Big hair, lots of hairspray, traveling, lots of spandex. And we traveled Canada and the upper Midwest, and kind of was working our way back down the West Coast, but never quite made it to LA. But we played a little bit in Escondido and kind of a couple little towns, and I decided that if the band split up that I'd move out here. So I moved out here, got a job at the Inn at Rancho Santa Fe as a waitress, didn't want to have anything to do with music for a while, and the longer I worked, the more I started missing music, and then I had been singing rock and roll, and it was kind of trash in my voice, so I started listening to jazz, and I was like, oh, and then I heard Joe Beam, and then I heard Peter and Kevyn, and it just totally spoke to me, and so I took a few lessons, about 6 months worth of lessons, but really what I did was listen to Ella and Sarah Vaughan and Carmen McRae and all the greats. And so Peter was working a wedding at the Inn at Rancho Santa Fe, so I was in my cummerbund and my nurse's shoes and my support hose, and I got up the nerve to go up to him and say, I'm kind of trying to work on singing jazz, and he was like, oh, you want to sing a song? So I got up and sang Days of Wine and Roses with him at this wedding. So
She sounded good out of the gate.
And so we kept in touch, and I've recorded all my CDs with him. And
Fantastic. Well, Lisa, can you get Leonard? Is Leonard here?
He's here, yep.
And
Okay.
bring Leonard in.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
You're welcome.
So, Peter, let's talk a little bit about what other things you're working on before we get Leonard in. You've got this disc. What are some of the things that you've got coming up that you're working on?
Well, I'm really busy in my studio, and in the studio I've been doing a bunch of projects for other people. I've got 2 people coming up next month. I've got 2 separate people that are doing projects that live in Japan. It's weird, and I don't, one guy I've done a record with already. He's coming back to do another record, and another guy just heard about my studio and had some other musicians in town that he wanted to work with. So that's just survival work, studio work that I do a lot. But other stuff I have coming up with newer projects. I'm taking a little bit of a rest, at least for the summer. I'm not going to jump in, but after the summer I have a lot of ideas of projects that I want to do. One thing that's kind of interesting, Vince, a current trend of which I'm really into is this idea of doing tribute concerts. So like we like for our band, we just recently did a Cream tribute, and we've done Stevie Wonder and the Beatles, and we did Brazil '66 tribute. But now I'm going to start a movement, and I really am doing this. The next month we have a gig. We're called the Tribute Rebels, and we're going to now, in a way, we do tributes to our own music. Because I love the tributes, but you rehearse so much, and then you do this gig, and then it's gone. And so, at least if it was a tribute of your own music, you'd rehearse, you do the stuff, the gig is gone, but you still have this song in your back pocket that you wrote, which for us writers, it's like your kids. So anyway, I will tell you more, and maybe I can come and talk more, because there's some beautiful, wonderful attributes of doing tributes to others, but tributes to things. For us musicians, we learn, it gets people interested, but there's also this whole other side of which I want to kind of start this revolution.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Leonard Patton has joined us. So, Leonard, welcome to Jazz Live San Diego.
What's happening?
It's good to have you here. So, Leonard, you work on the Ocean in Your Eyes disc on several tunes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if you could tell us something about your work on this disc, and any tune in particular that you particularly enjoyed doing.
Well, I always, it's been great to be a part of Peter's recordings over the year in various stages. His last vocal project and now this one. There's not necessarily a particular favorite. I think as I listen to him, each tune just kind of hits you a little differently, or the process of it. The Training with Charles is a tune that we played first, probably one of actually the first tunes that I played with him way back in the day when we first started playing together. So it's nice to be able to finally record that one. But this is a cool and unique, a different project than I think Peter has done in the past. So just to be a part of it for me is awesome.
So tell me what your impressions are on working with Peter. What do you enjoy about that process, or what are the challenges of working with Peter?
Not really any. I mean, the challenges are the music. Some of it's very involved and difficult, and some of it's pretty intuitive. But I mean, the arrangements are very, some of them are pretty in depth, and so that's about the hardest thing. But as far as being in the studio with Peter, there's no really challenge. It's he's got probably the nicest studio and location in San Diego when it's at his house in Leucadia, and it's really just a cool hang session with just everybody. There's no clock okay, let's get this going. It's working and listening and having fun in the process. So that's really what all of Peter's sessions are like. People like to be there, to be part of that process. That's what it should be like.
Excellent. Well, Peter, before we go, is there a place on the internet where people can find out more information about you and your new disc, Ocean in Your Eyes?
Yeah, I have a website called www.petersprague.com, and on the website You can read more about this recording and also listen to samples of it and also buy it if you feel so moved.
Excellent. Well, Peter, it's an honor to have you here at Jazz Live San Diego. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Vince. Really enjoyed it.
Great.
Good work.
Okay, good.